Hello everyone. Today I'm making fig jam. I have some frozen figs from last year's harvest. You can still see some of the frost on them. And then I've got some fresh figs down here that I picked too. I'm not sure how many cups this is. I could wait. Last year I made fig jam, and what was left over that we didn't eat fresh, we froze, or I froze. So I'm using them this year, now that my figs are coming in. I've had a few that we've eaten, and some squirrels or birds got to some of them. I've got some in the dehydrator, and I've got some here. I've still got quite a few left on the tree. But anyway, what you do, I washed them. Cut the stem piece off. See how I've cut the stems? This is the blossom end, and this is the stem end. So cut those off. Cut off any things that might be a blemish too. You might see some in here where some of them are peeled off when you try to cut it, but whatever. Anyway, so I got it here. I have chickens and I have rabbits, and I harvested the majority of my grapes too, and these are just some that have not quite made it to where I want it to be yet. So I'm just going to give those to the chickens. There's a overripe strawberry. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to wash them again, and then I am going to put them in the food processor, and I'm going to chop them down smaller instead of trying to do it by hand. And then I'll show it to you when I've gotten that far. Hello, I'm back. So I managed, out of 105 figs, I got 6 cups. Okay, and 105 figs were, some of them were kind of small. So you see that they're kind of various sizes. Now the liquid in here is a little more than 1/2 of a cup of water and a little more than 1/2 of a cup of lemon juice and a touch of vanilla. Alright, so you have to add lemon juice because the figs are not acidic enough, and you want to preserve them well. So you see that my figs are all kind of different sizes, and they'll pretty much stay the sizes that they are. So they'll reduce a little, but however you want your figs, whether they be whole or finely chopped, I suggest you make it that size as best as you can before you go ahead and cut them. I don't mind the big chunks. Okay, so our next step is to add 7 cups of sugar and 1 package of pectin. That looks like a lot, doesn't it? But believe me, read this. See where it says figs, 3 1/4 pounds, 2 lemons. Trim and discard stem ends from figs, finely chopped figs. 5 cups of finely chopped figs. Well, I ended up having 6. 1/2 of a cup of lemon juice. To compensate for the 6 cups, I added a little more than 1/2 a cup. 1/2 cup of water. Again, I added a little more than 1/2 a cup, and 7 cups of sugar. So I actually have 7 2/3 cups compensating for the extra cup. It may not be exact science here, but I'm compensating. All right, and you should end up with about 10 cups of stuff. So I'm going to mix this in before I ever even turn the heat on a little bit, and then I'm going to turn the heat on, and it's going to make quite a bit of liquid, and it's going to begin the process of breaking down and gelling up. Alright, yes, I do have 1 package of Sure Gel in there. I did just do one Sure Gel. Now this is the original in the orange package. If I wanted less sugar, I could have used the pink package and a little bit less sugar. But I don't mind this because I may want to make cakes or pies or something with this. Okay, so I will see you back once this starts to cook. Okay, hello. Welcome back, everybody. See, I put some butter in there. Alright. You don't need a lot, just a little, a couple tablespoons, a couple pats of butter. You see that we're starting to boil. And what this butter does is it helps to keep it from boiling too bad, creating a lot of foam. You can pick the foam off, skim it off, you know, and put it in a jar or something, and you can still use it as jam for your toast in the morning or something, but it's not necessary. I don't mind. This isn't going to be a clear jam anyway. It's going to have color and everything, and you're not going to really notice any foam that there might be, but the butter will help keep the foam down. But it's just now beginning to come up in temperature, and you see that it's getting a foam on it a little bit. It was kind of trying to boil a little bit, but at this point you really do need to kind of watch it and stir it quite frequently because you do not want it to burn. Once it gets a little further along, I will come back. Thank you. Hello everyone, we're back. You see it's boiling now, and we're at the stage where the pectin is activating. I did put pectin in there, but I'm probably going to boil it down a little while. I'm not quite ready anyway to pack it, but I do have, excuse my dogs in the background. Hold on a minute. Hey! Alright, so I do have a saucer in the freezer chilling out so that I can test the consistency. But I should be able to just do this and watch how it drips off of there. And as it thickens up, it'll be a slower drip and make a longer drip. But once I do that and check the consistency, I will be able to know where I'm at as far as canning. But to me, it's a little too thin. So I'm going to probably let it go 5 or 10 minutes and let some of the water cook out of it, the juice cook out of it and condense down, and go from there. But you do kind of need to stir extremely often with this. Okay, don't let it burn. I don't think that would taste very good. Right, so I'll see you back in a few minutes. Here's a quick note. We're about halfway there. You see how it's boiling really well and there's really not a lot of foam. Alright, pretty soon I will be checking the consistency of it on the saucer. I can show you here right now. You can see that it's thickening up a little bit. You can see it kind of drip and a little slower. It's not quite done. I'm about to sterilize my equipment. Got my canning jars in the oven. They've been in there before I started this. So, I'll get back to you. Alright, are you ready for the test? I'm going to give it one good stir. I still have my equipment that I'm going to use sterilizing, so I'm just going to take this, drop it on here. It's on a cold thing. It's still not quite where I want it, but it's gelling. It's gelling out. Let's see if we run our finger through it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Not 100% where I want it yet though. I want it a little bit stiffer. Not perfect, but a little bit stiffer. And by the time my stuff is through sterilizing, this will be through and we will jar it. And then we will water bath it in water bath for, I believe it's 10 minutes. See then? I've turned it off. I have my hot water bath canner heating up. This is cooling down just slightly. It doesn't have to. I usually can it even hotter. But got my lids sterilizing. Yes, I sterilize the rings too, and I know you don't necessarily need to. Looks a little dark in the pot, doesn't it? Okay, anyway. So I pulled out 4 jars out of the oven. I've got my equipment ready. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to dip a ladleful. It's kind of hard. I'm not used to do it this way. Dip a ladleful. Bring it over. And dump it in. Alright, so I need to come back. Dip. Let it drain. Come back. Pour it in. Now I don't quite have enough in there, so I need to get a little more. It's hard to do this. Fill it up. About that full. Okay, like a ½ inch from the top. So let's do this again. I only pulled out 4 jars. I'm going to make a mess. Make sure your towel underneath is clean. Alright? Making a mess. It's hard to do this with this in your hand. Trying to watch both. Okay. Alright. So I'll stop right there for just a second. I'll move this. And they're both at pretty good stages. Or heights. So clean the rims off. I know you can't see that one very well, but you see the little pink on there? Alright. Clean it off. Hold on a second, my stuff is boiling and it's shit to boil. Alright. Get your lid out. Get your lid out. Dry it off. If I can get it off of there. It's another reason why it's important to have clean lids. So you just do it and you put them on there. And then you get a ring and you put the ring on and you tighten it. I'll show you that in a minute, but let me get a little further ahead. Okay, I'm back. I have 5 and a half, roughly 5 3/4 jars. Alright? Out of 105 figs, 6 cups. Alright, so now they're going into the water bath canner. I may have to add more water to this. I don't have a way of showing you by keeping it in one space. I don't have a tripod. I mean, I may have one somewhere, a little one. Okay, so I'm not going to process, excuse my messy stove, I'm not going to process this jar because that jar is not full. It'll just go in the refrigerator once it's cooled and we will eat that. But this will process in the water bath canner for about 10 minutes. So, bird's eye view here. Oh, I have to add more water. It's not enough. Oops, got steamy. So let me do that. And I'll show you when it's done. Hello everybody, I'm back. I'm going to show you what the water bathing process looks like. You need to have the lid on to do it, to process it. 10 minutes. We'll be back. Alright, we've taken them out of the hot water bath now. Look how beautiful. I don't know if one will pop while we're right here. This one, that's the partial jar, actually popped, and okay, it's not too hot to touch. It's setting up a little, but it's still hot. You may notice that I have a used lid on here. That's because it's going in the refrigerator, and I'm not worried about it getting a seal, but it did seal. How long it would seal for, I don't know. You should never reuse lids, unless you use them for dry canning, which is what I do. Because I add an oxygen absorber in there, and it'll stay sealed, but not with jams and stuff like that. It would be like for rice or something. But these, they're really probably boiling still at this point inside of there. Sometimes you can see them boiling. Whoop, did you hear it? Which one popped? This one. So once they are cooled down tomorrow, I will take these rings off. I will wipe around the lid. I will do like this to try and check and make sure that it has stayed sealed. I won't pull hard, but I'll just kind of slightly, I'll touch this one because it doesn't hurt as bad. I will just kind of pull slightly on it and make sure that it's sealed. And I replace the lids. I'll show you with this jar here. This is tomatoes that I did the other day. It's sealed. You notice the lid is loose. I can't pop it off. I wiped the edge with the paper towel, made sure it was clean, and then I put the lid back on, and now that's not tight, but it's on there, and I'll just release it a little ways. Okay? And that's how I do them. And I do store them with the lids on it, or the rings on it. I don't have anywhere to store these rings individually. Plus, I don't have a good pantry system yet. So what I'll do is I'll take these jars right here. See, it's tomato 721. And I actually have to store them on top of each other. So with the little bit of a looseness in the ring, you see how that doesn't quite touch the top? You can loosen it even further, and it more rests on the glass part of the ring bands or something, whatever you call it. And it won't press down on top there, really. But I will eventually get better shelving. I have them not just here, but I have a whole pantry. I have a whole pantry over here. I'm in the process of painting, so don't worry about me. Up top I've got jellies and jams. Down below I have tomatoes and stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Here's some orange marmalade. You see, you grab it and it's loose. All of them, even if they're just single. You can. I should probably not have them on there at all and just store them like this, But like I said, I don't have any place for these lids, and a lot of them are I put back in the cases, and in the cases, like this down here, in the cases, and that helps keep the dust off of them. But some of them I'm going to use sooner or later, or I give a lot away. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and any kind of video you would like for me to do, just let me know. Oh, here's some dry canning. You see how it's sealed, and that's dry canning. It has an oxygen absorber probably up at the top. I've got other dry can stuff, but it's pretty much put away. So anyway, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribing would be great. Subscribing helps other people to watch the videos and lets me know you've watched, and it would be nice. It would help me out a lot. And so like and subscribe and hit the notification button if you'd like. Please also comment and tell me what you liked about the video, what you didn't like, if you have a different recipe, what recipes you would like to see. I have other ones coming up. I don't really have terrific equipment, but we'll make the videos as best as we can. So let me know. Thank you for watching. God bless.